That was not fun. Okay, I think I'm going to try to help any future classic 911 owners out. This is an 82 911 SC. I've been doing just the maintenance on. I just acquired it maybe about 3 months ago in December. And I did I'm doing the tune up and everything, just getting it ready for my first share of enjoyment. Just doing some paint touch up, not trying to make it perfect, but just it had a plethora of dings and scratches. I don't know what the deal was with that, but just been slowly going through that with brush touching it. And got to the fill plug on the 915 gearbox here, the 5-speed gearbox. This gearbox ran from the early 70s to 86. And then in 87, they replaced it with the G50 gearbox. But this gearbox is notorious for the fill plug being the 17 millimeter hex Allen fill plug being stuck and being unbelievably stubborn to get off. And here it is. After somebody had already attempted to get this off, so I was already dealing with somebody's failed attempt. I put the channel lock marks on the end, but somebody started rounding it out. I don't know if it should be a 17 millimeter flat bottom. You need to make sure it's a flat bottom like this with no bevel on the end. And you need to also make sure, and people probably overlook this step, is that there's no dirt or debris at the bottom, and that this, and I'm sorry if my camera's shaking a little bit. It's my Samsung A32 5G, and it seems like the video jumps a little bit. So if you get that, if that ends up happening, I apologize for it. I'm trying to hold it as steady as possible. But what happens is if somebody doesn't put, and it looks like that's what he did with the 17 millimeter, he only got it maybe halfway in and started to round it out. So I had to move up from a 17 to an 11/16, which is just slightly bigger. And I tapped it in, and I had to break out my half-inch Lowe's Cobalt Impact, which this thing is broken loose, the most stubborn rusted bolts, because I'm here in Illinois, and this has been an absolute necessary thing to have, especially working on undercarriage when I've tried to help like my wife's friends out and stuff when they've had car problems and stuff. Which my profession before I retired was IT, but I was always a car guy. But I kind of know my way around cars. I'm kind of very technical, so I always got stuck doing other people's work that they didn't. I'm kind of a OCD too, so I tend to be more analytical and careful and a little bit slower. So this plug took me 3 days to get out. And I didn't want to rush it because I didn't want to round it out. You could see what it actually broke the 3/8. The problem with these 17 millimeter and 11/16 is they take 3/8, which is not too beefy. I need to get impact extensions. But anyways, what in my opinion broke it out was multiple times of hitting it with a standard heat gun. You can get these anywhere at the hardware store. I tried propane torch, but for some reason the jury seems to be out when I was looking around whether or not these later models, well, I'd say later model, this is an 82, is that aluminum or magnesium case? So I did not want to apply an actual flame to it, thinking if it was possibly magnesium. I think it's aluminum, but I'm not sure on which it is. But the problem is this is a steel plug, and it's been in there for a long time because the fluid, and I don't know if you can see, it was overfilled and it's pretty brown. So it looked like one of the previous owners gave up, and it's probably not been changed for a while. So Swepco 201 is the most popular for these 915 gearboxes, or Kendall, it seems like. But obviously the old Kendall, because a lot of people have. If you go back on the forums, look at the recommended fluid, that was the old Kendall before they changed hands. So, jury's out on whether or not that's the same formula, but it seems like those two are still okay to use on these old classic 911. So, again, probably by the fifth time of heating it up for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, it actually broke loose. And I was on it with this impact with my 1/2 inch to 3/8 extension. And I had two extensions on it, which of course I was losing some impacting force, and it split this. I don't know what brand this is. I don't know if this is a Craftsman. I don't think this is a Craftsman. This is a no-name brand. Split that baby right on the edge there. So thank God I got a ton of those. But yeah, I should buy some impacts. But that's my recommendation is if you got an old 911, a classic 911, you get a stuck drain plug. If you can get through. Now I had to extend it out to get the impact gun right about here, and I was able to get out. But of course, when you extend it like that, you do lose a little bit of impacting force with that. But with the comment, I really think this is what did the trick. It took about maybe the fifth time of sitting on it for a good 2 minutes. Maybe I was on it about 3 minutes and just heating it, just cautious, just to keep checking it and stuff like that. But, a lot of people have said that when there have been some on the forums that said when you heat even if you apply heat to that Allen, the heat is dissipated quickly by the gear oil that's in the box. That's probably true. It probably does take some of the heat away. That's why you got to kind of work quickly. But these standard heat guns you get at, Home Depot or any of the big box stores, anywhere pretty much. Harbor Freight sells it. I don't even know which one this is. I've had it such a long time for taking up wallpaper. I put it on high, and I swear this gun was not budging it at all until I hit it about the fifth time, a good solid 2.5 minutes with heat, and it finally broke loose. And I really don't think it would have broke it loose unless I kept hitting it with heat. And obviously the repeated heating started raising the temperature slightly to enough where it expanded around the plug and just release enough grip to get where the massive amount that this thing puts out. Like I said, this Lowe's Cobalt has been my go-to for the most rigorous stuck bolts, and it was struggling. So, there, by the way, there's your O2 sensor. And this looks like an aftermarket. Somebody replaced this pipe right here with the catalytic converter. That's not the OE catalytic converter. But I'm just doing the touch-ups. My first year, like I said, I've had about 3 months. I'm just doing the maintenance, brake pads. The rotors look pretty good. I'm debating whether or not I want to replace the rotors or just do a pad slap on it for first year. But I'm not even sure I need to do that because it looks like the pads are actually, I'll have to check them. But I ordered some ATE pads. But it's been fun, but that was my holdup, was getting that fill plug out. You always try the fill plug first, because had I had removed the drain plug and drained the fluid, I would have been really in creek. So that's why everybody will tell you always attack the fill plug first to get the fluid in. But that's the original old part number, because the new ones, this is not made anymore. And I imagine the one on the bottom, I'm almost 100% sure, unless somebody changed it, should have a magnet on it. There's the recess for the magnet to attract metal debris. But the fill plug on these from the factory always had a non-magnetic. The ones you order from like Pelican or Auto House or FC Euros, all the ones that they have, they don't have this old plug anymore. They have the new style. So a lot of people will just use the 930 plug, which is like it's a standard bolt type plug. So you have, obviously you don't have to deal with the Allen. The other thing you could do is properly torque it and not over tighten it, and use what I'm going to do is if I ordered the standard plug and I ordered 2 of them. I haven't even tried the drain plug yet, but we'll see how much that's going to be kind of a pain. And it's funny because, and I think I said this, is somebody tried it with the 17 millimeter, obviously, and it started getting loose on me, so I had to move up to the SAE, which just is slightly bigger enough to get enough grip, and I had to tap it in there with a hammer, like Adam Sandler and Happy Gilmore. I had to tap it in, tap, and you don't have much tapping room because you got all this. I don't know if you can see it, the throttle linkage. I don't know if you can see it, but everything's in the way. And that's the problem, is you have to start. So I actually pulled the cotter pin off that the accelerator cable, the rod, and slid it away from the trans, because I didn't want to hit, trying to get some clearance. But yeah, that's without repeating myself as I'm probably doing. Heat, heat, heat. Just keep applying heat and try a heat gun. Get a good heat gun. That one has never failed me. It always puts out a nice hot heat, and I could actually see it. It wasn't obviously it's not going to glow, but you can tell it's getting hot. I should have got my infrared thermometer out. I could have seen how quickly maybe it was dissipating the heat from the gear oil that was in the trans. But it's the repeated heating that seemed to loosen it up and got this bad boy out. And I'll tell you, this impact never struggles, but it was struggling. And just the fact of having to use an impact to remove a drain plug seems so foreign to me because I've never had to do that. Obviously, one of the tricks is if you have enough meat, you can use a chisel on the edge and try to. But I'm not even sure with this thing if that would have worked. I don't know. This is the most stubborn that I've ran into. And obviously, part of the problem is when you got not enough bite when you're trying to take it off, or it's kind of your socket's kind of moving around. So give that a try. Keep applying heat. Some people say keep hitting it for a couple nights with the PB Blaster or Crow Oil and try that. But that only is good as if it gets to the. Sorry, I had to pull up my sleeves. It only as good as it gets to the threads. And I think what happens is it's probably over tightened maybe by somebody before. I'm sure this fluid was changed, being this is an 82. It's dirty, but it's not that dirty. But then again, who knows? I've never seen 42-year-old fluid before. Maybe I'm looking at it. I'm not sure. It's pretty brown. And it's not Swepco, because Swepco is green. This stuff looks like standard 80W90 gear oil. It's standard like golden color. Swepco is 201 is green. So we'll see. So yeah, give that a try. We'll see what the drain plug's going to entail, but I'm not so much as worried about that. It's not rounded out, and we'll see if as long as that comes out, we're good. So got my 2 drain plugs ordered. They should come tomorrow. Okay, thanks.